Alrighty. Hello. Happy day after Christmas, such as it is. Tonight we are going to be playing some Goblins in Modern. So, Goblins is a strategy not unlike Zoo, or especially the Burning Tree Zoo decks, that try to flood the board and finish you off with burn spells. Your ideal turn 1 play is either Foundry Street Denizen or Goblin Guide usually. A lot of 1-drops. You've got Foundry Street Goblin, Foundry Street, Goblin Guide, Legion Loyalist, and Mog Fanatic. You can play Goblin Bushwhacker on one, but generally speaking you want to save this until you've got a bunch of things on board and you can go and can kick it and deal a lot of extra damage. Legion Loyalist. You generally don't lead on Legion Loyalist if you have one of the other 1-drops, because you generally want this to trigger Battalion and throw off your opponent's blocking, particularly if they're relying on things like Lingering Souls. And then beyond that, you have your 2-drops. Goblin War Marshal gets you 2 goblins, and then when it dies, another goblin comes into play. Has Echo. A lot of times you're using this as a chump blocker, or sometimes you'll play Echo and grind your matchups. Goblin Pile Driver is your heaviest hitter. Whenever you have a bunch of goblins in play, this is the goblin that really punishes Storm decks or things like that, especially if you're in combination with Legion Loyalist to give it trample on first strike. This goblin can hit for a ton if your opponent doesn't have removal for it. And then Goblin Chieftain gives all your other goblins +1/+1 in haste, has haste itself, and then Reckless Bushwhacker is, in addition to Goblin Bushwhacker, makes up what they call 8-whack goblins. Basically, you play this as your second spell. All your creatures get +1/+0 in haste until end of turn. And then Goblin Bushwhacker, you play it with a kicker. You get +1/+0 in haste as well. Then Goblin Healer Cutter as a 1-of. Sweet! That's cool. So I take it you got a good Christmas then, Darius. Then Goblin Heal Cutter also helps with its dash ability to eliminate blockers, such like a Tarmogoyf or something. And then you have things like Goblin Grenade and Lightning Bolt to both clear out blockers and finish off your opponent. Sideboard, you got your Graveyard Hate, Tormod's Corrupting Relic, Pile Driver for matchups where you're really trying to pile on the damage, Smash to Smithereens for your artifact decks like Affinity or Lantern Control, Dragon's Claw, pretty much specifically for burn, and then you have Karizev's Expertise and Goblin Heal Cutter for matchups where your opponent's trying to beat you with blockers, pretty much. So beyond that, we're going to get this Goblins deck into a league, see how it goes. Been a little bit since I played Goblins, so don't know how the current format is set up for it. Last time I played this deck, I think the reason we ended up hanging up Goblins was pretty much Dredge, because a lot of quick, fast blockers plus Conflagrate just got to be such a annoyance. Did you get anything else good there for Christmas, Darius? I know you were looking forward to the getting a Planeswalker too, wasn't it? One of the other things I forgot to mention in the opener here was Contested Warzone, which is another card to look out for. Probably not a card you want to play until the turn you're ready to go wide. Yes, I'd like to play first. Sounds like great. And then we have a no-lander, so this is a mulligan. One of the dangers of playing these 18-19 land decks. So this hand is actively bad, but I think we have to keep it. Goblin Grenade, I think to the bottom. Foundry Street Denizen, and go. So this hand is against Bloodstained Mire. These contested war zones are going to be very awkward. Sleeving. Inquisition. Yep, they're gonna get our Goblin Grenade here, probably. So good thing we bottomed that Goblin Grenade. Oh, they take Mog Fanatic. Alright. So it's possible we should have gone to 5, but is our opponent a Blood Moon deck? Opponent's taken. Yep. Inquisition. Not great for us. Our opponent's got a. Okay. Interesting. It's currently a 2/2. Hopefully our opponent will trade off here. They choose not to. Alright, get in for 3 here. We're in a lot of trouble here. Just straight up a lot of trouble. This is the hands that you sit there and go, why did I play this Goblins deck? Alright. Still a 2/2, right? Yep. Legion Loyalist. Let's see if our opponent has something like Fatal Push here. So our opponent doesn't really have any great blocks here. Do they block this turn? Nope. Opponent's going to 4. Huh. Alright. Alright. Well, despite our mulligan to 6 that wasn't all that exciting, our opponent's pretty well dead here. Yep. Alright, so we're still not exactly sure what our opponent is playing. Some type of red-black deck. So, doesn't feel like Mog Fanatic's going to be particularly effective, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in Heel Cutter and get these chieftains out of here for a couple expertises. Maybe get the last pile driver in. I just don't like relying on lords in situations where our opponent's likely to have a boatload of removal or sweepers after post board. So this hand isn't great, but I think it's still a keep. It's like one of our bushwhacker effects away from being pretty effective. Though our opponent probably has sweepers in post board. Opponent keeps their 7. Excuse me. Blood Crypt Inquisition. Ooh, Thoughtseize. Okay. Ironically, Thoughtseize is not usually very good in this matchup because we're not really... They take Bolt. Interesting. Oh, Goblin Grenade. Well, that's going to pair with our hand fairly decently. So Goblins is a deck that it's somewhat susceptible to discard, but like... So... Apparently they're just a Kagan Dragonlord deck. I don't know, it's the second time in a row we've seen this card, so... Sure. Sure. So... Nope, not paying the Echo. Alright, we're flooding out a little bit, which is kind of unfortunate. And sacrifice this Goblin. Might mass spam. See, I don't know what our opponent's playing, because it's like, all we've seen is discard spells into Dragonlord. Now, I guess I gotta play this into a sweeper. Then if our opponent draws anything, we're just kind of sitting here with two mountains in our hand, so... Board sweeper? Yep. Or is this like a Liliana of the... Nope, Anger of the Gods? I'm not really sure what's going on here. So you have something like Kozilek's? No, they're not a mill deck. I don't know. May as well just pay for it. I'm not really sure what they are. Could easily be something like Kozilek's Return. So I'm not going to play anything more to the board. They're fatal pushing a token. Okay. No, mill decks are usually blue-black in Modern. Wow. We're trying to one-for-one tokens. That feels awful. So 2 drop you to 9. That would be 3 down to 8, 7. I don't think... Does Loyalist change the clock here? 3 down to 8, 7. I think we'll go ahead and play out Loyalist here, because it definitely doesn't look like they have a sweeper. Trigger. Looking for 3 here. So it looks like we're going to win match 1 without much of a fight from our opponent. Going to 7 here. Damnation. Stormbreath Dragon. Alright. Very interesting deck from our opponent. Looks like they're just like a red-black dragons deck. See if we can get some Thunderbreak. Okay, so they're just like a red-black dragons deck. Okay. I can respect that. Probably things like Draconic Roar in their deck. Alright, you're still... Yeah, Mana pool is not permanent. It only lasts through the phase in which you pay the mana. So, and then sacrifice that, and opponent, you're dead. Sorry. Alright, so we won round 1 despite some very pedestrian draws on the part of our deck. So it looked like our opponent was like a red-black dragons deck. Which, I mean, that deck could be cool. I liked Mardu dragons back in standard. Red-black was pretty decent. They might be like a red-black dragon slash Blood Moon deck would be my guess. Would be the best guess I had, and Blood Moon's obviously pretty terrible against goblins. So, game 1 goes to the goblins nonsense. Match 1, sorry. Doop-a-doo. Yeah, mana. Well, that's cool. What's his name? See if Magic decides to go Magic. Alright, so what does this hand do? Got a lot of 3-drops. I think it's a keep, but it's... Alright. Turn 1. Elves. Elves. Elves are all you need. So there is some consideration just bolting their, Okay, so they have a Boreal Druid. Yeah, they're just straight up Elves. Is this a... Okay, Boreal Druid, sure. Heritage Druid. Oh, this could get ugly real quick. Alright, so... Play out Mog Fanatico. Go ahead and attack with my Goblin guide here. Opponent shows us Razorverge Thicket. No blocks. Alright. So... let's go ahead and blow up this Heritage Druid here. And pass. Alright. So our opponent might have something like Collected Company in hand. Goblin Peel Driver. Dwynen's Elite is going to make this much more difficult. Collected Company incoming, sure. Ah, good old Archdruid, huh? See how our opponent chooses to block here. So nice of our opponent to jump block. Play out Pile Driver and pass. So our opponent's probably going to get our contested war zone here, which kind of sucks. Alright, Land of War Elves, sure. Tyrant server. No attacks from our opponent. Alright, now we get to have some fun here. It's possible our opponent has something like Collected Company, but there's only so much we can do. Opponent reveals Devoted Druid. The Collected Company in hand, friend? Yep. Alright, Devoted Druid, Dwynen's Elite. Sounds like an interesting card. Alright, see what our opponent rips here. Alright, Archdruid's an annoying card, I'll grant it that much. So does our opponent just go swinging for the fences here, or what do they do? Alright. Opponent gets contested war zone, which is unfortunate. Good draw here. Alright, yep, that'll do. That'll do, donkey, that'll do. Alright, do we have anything in our bag of tricks for... So... Don't think we have anything in our sideboard for this matchup. Pile Driver was fine there, but I don't think they're great, especially in the draw. Dragon's Claw doesn't really do a lot. Smash doesn't do anything. Karizev's Expertise. Maybe a heel cutter for a Pile Driver on the draw. I would like an actual falter effect in the sideboard for this style of matchup. The old Goblin lists I used to play had that kind of thing, but... one lander... I think we gotta keep it, it's not great. Yep. Alright, second land's pretty decent here. Go ahead and play out Denizen here. See how our opponent chooses to tap their mana. Looks like they're just going Dwine and delete. Yep. This is gonna be a rough matchup to rough opening to match. No sense in attacking with our Dorkos here. Archdruid, sure. Throw this under the bus since we were planning on doing that anyway. Save us a little bit of life total. And Bushwhacker isn't bad, but so kill this, sacrifice this. Don't think I'm supposed to attack with anything here. Maybe the Foundry Street, since it's such an awful blocker. Says that will do, donkey. That will do, donkey. That will do. Unfortunately, we have too many whacks in our hand. So our opponent going to attack. Alright, sure. Trade off. Yeah, something like a Yuzuri here. That'll do, donkey, that'll do. This smells like collected company, so guess they could have Court of Calling here. Yep, looks like, nope, collected company. Why wouldn't you Yuzuri? Alright. Yuzuri and Visionary. So they could overrun us here, do us a lot of damage. I don't think we're really in a position to crack back for lethal, so this is going to be kind of ugly. So this is lethal on board, so see if our opponent chooses to go for it. They don't. Alright. Works for me. Just trying to think. I don't think there's any way we have lethal on the crackback. Why would you not play Archdruid main phase? That doesn't make much sense. Lightning Bolt. Alright, well, this at least allows us to stay in the game. Can't regenerate Yuzuri, friend. Alright. Path to Exile. Yes. So they brought in Path. Now that's interesting. No blocks here. I don't think we're winning this particular game anyway, but alright, sure. So our opponent's entire hand is on the table. We find another bolt or something, we might be okay here. Pile driver is enough, that's just game. We were looking for bolt or grenade there to kill their archdruid. Pile driver into that have been enough. Would have been close. If we would have had whatchamacallit still on the table. Still don't think we have any other better cards in the matchup. Yeah, Cryptolith Ragnar's pretty decent. Guess I'd like to play first. This hand is fine. Not really liking these contested war zones very much so far. Yeah, I can definitely see the point of them, but it's just like they are risky. See what our opponent reveals. Dwynen's Elite. Would like to draw another... Okay. That is not the card we were looking for. Just attack with Goblin Guide here. Path to Exile. It's kind of whatever in this matchup. So we're going to hold up Bolt here. In case our opponent just goes like Dwynen's Elite. Devoted Druid, sure. Holding up Path to Exile is kind of whatever. Bolt the Devoted Druid. Opponent shows us another Dwynen's Elite. Alright, sure. Kinda wanted another mountain anyway. Sets us up better for future turns. Go ahead and do this. Alright, opponent's passing with Collected Company mana up, which is extremely annoying, obviously. Nope. Get a token. So, what's the play here? I guess we don't have enough red mana for that particular play. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Just swinging with Goblin Guide here then. Yeah, I'm really not liking these contested war zones so far. Collected Company. Heritage Druid, Dwynen's Elite, sure. Yeah, I accept that trade. So let's go ahead and play a Bushwhacker here. Now 2 of our opponent's 3 cards in hand are Dwynen Elites, so they're probably going to win this. Alright, that's an interesting... Guess they're not lacking on mana, just the way their things are going. Even if we would have killed Dwynen's Elite here, still think we would have been up a shiitake crick. Alright, here comes a Dwynen's Elite. Another Dwynen's Elite. Mentu Mountain. So it's possible our opponent's other card is Path to Exile. And if it is, we're in a little bit of trouble in the spot, but at least we'll know before combat, because they can't allow the trigger to resolve. Alright, so put our opponent to 8. They have a large board, but only 1 card in hand. Okay, attack with the tokens. They're going to get contested war zone here. So our opponent's last card, Collected Company. Alright, Founder Street Denizen. Not really the card we're looking for here, but it's a card at least. Okay, no Collected Company, that's a good thing. Alright. Nope, Archdruid, sure. So our own contested war zone might kill us here. Alright, so each of these basically counts for 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I gotta block with at least 2 creatures here. One, two. Because each one of these is basically... It's 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Alright, so I need to block 2 creatures. Gives us the best chance to win. So I'm taking 3, 5, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, puts us to 1. Elves isn't playing. Yep, and go to 1. And we still have several outs that kill them here. Is Goblin Chieftain one of them? Nope, I don't think Chieftain was one of the draws we were looking for here. So it's like a hasty creature would have done it. That wasn't Goblin Chieftain. Block, block. They take... So Chieftain... This becomes a 2-2, 2-2, 3-2, 2-2. Get in for 5, and then just die on the crackback. Oh well. We had several draws there that were lethal, but that wasn't one of them, so... Another mountain wasn't. Yep, like, Goblin Guide was lethal the way they did that. Any of our Bushwhacker effects lethal? Yeah, I think both of our Bushwhacker effects were lethal. Legion Loyalist was lethal there. Bolt was obviously lethal. Another Goblin Grenade was lethal. There's probably a good number of... I'm trying to think what was actually lethal in our deck. Heel Cutter... I don't think Heel Cutter was lethal in that situation. So these contested war zones so far have just been... I have not been loving them. We'll leave it at that. Okay, this is a mulligan. Go down to 6 here. Yeah, this hand's perfectly fine. Keep that on top. Oh dear. Life gain deck, wonderful. I don't know that we're beating the life gain deck. Attacking with the Ascendant, that makes sense. Do you have a follow-up creature? Seal plans, you do not. Alright, interesting. So, play Pile Driver here. This might draw out something like Path to Exile, if they have it. Alright. See what our opponent... Looks like they don't have Path either. Alright, Martyr's an annoying card, sure. goes to 34. That's quite a hand, opponent. Most of which they can't cast, fortunately. Alright, Legion Loyalist. So the card they're most going to be interested in taking out here is probably... Opponent gets to go to 40. Yeesh. Alright, Pile Driver hits for a ton. At least their Ascendant's back down to a 1-1. Alright, I mean, this is going to be a lot of damage, so... Trigger... Opponent's going to have to decide what they want to trade off for here. Probably the Legion Loyalist, but then they're taking a boatload of damage, so... All depends on if our opponent understands the cards they need to kill here. Nope, they don't. So it looks like they might just be pathing the Pile Driver here then. So... Yep, sure. Otherwise this would be lethal, but now they have no good blocks. So... Doesn't really matter, unfortunately, opponent, so... Yeah, Pile Driver's a lot of damage, but the, Alright, so they get to go, like, Ranger of Eos here. Yep. So if they live one more turn, this could get ugly. Hopefully we can finish them off this turn. Martyr, martyr. Yeah, that's just lethal. Alright, Gobbos doing Gobbo things. So to be fair, just so we're clear as to what Goblins can do, I killed them from 40 life on turn 5. So our opponent is a Sun Titan Emiria deck. How much does that change things? Probably want Heel Cutter. Probably can cut down on some number of Pile Drivers on the draw. Chieftain. Some consideration for Chieftain, but we're going to go for Expertise for now. Chieftain I just don't like in situations where we're relying on him to bolster our team, especially since they're a path deck and they're decent at blocking, so. Yeah, hand seems fun. Opponent keeps their 6-card hand. Flagstones into Serra Ascendant. Alright, so play out the Goblin Guide here. I think, what card punishes us most here? Is it, I think a Johnny's Pride Mate is probably the card that punishes us most for this line. Oh, Squadron Hawk. Delightful. Which means opponents got jump blockers for days. Alright, I got a Ghost Quarter, sure. Going with your 1/1. Squadron Hawk. Yep. So now our opponent's like entire hand's gonna be Squadron Hawk. Alright, Heel Cutter is not bad. So the question is, am I supposed to hold up Bolt here, or what am I doing? Get in with Goblin Guide. Proclamation of Rebirth, that's a problem. Play out Bushwhacker here. Not the most efficient use of him, but I also don't want my opponent getting to the point where... Alright, third land. So we know most of our opponent's hand here. Another Squadron Hawk. No attacks from our opponent. Alright, good. Bolt that. Pile Driver. See if you're trading off both your Hawks for a Goblin Guide here. Field of Ruin. I mean, it's a land, but it's not particularly relevant. No blocks, sure. So I'm guessing I'm just playing out Pile Driver here. No Path to Exile. Alright, so... No, 3 of the 6 cards in our opponent's hand. This Ranger of Eos. Oblivion Ring. Sure. That's going to take our Pile Driver here. Yep. Land's not horrible. Top card of your library is Plains. Alright, we're starting to get into some scary range here. Path to Exile on Heel Cutter. Alright. Opponent might have bought themselves enough time to be an annoyance. Sure, I'll trade that off there. We're running out of resources, and our opponents got their 5th land drop. And they're still at 13. Reserve Eos. That's definitely an annoying card. Yep. And alright, there's Founder Street Denizen. This attack's not going to accomplish a whole lot, unfortunately. Especially without like a Legion Loyalist or something. So if our opponent blocks nothing, they're dead, but the chances of that happening are very slim. Alright, another land. Do you have yet another Path to Exile? Yep, that's the game. I can't recover from 15 life gain back-to-back turns followed by Proclamation of Rebirth. So unsurprisingly, our opponent has our pile drivers better on the draw. These expertises just seem I don't know. May not be the right matchup for him. Get these pile drivers back in here. So all of our matches have felt pretty close. Alright, so this is a one-lander. This is a one-lander that's good enough. Yeah, guess we keep it. Hope to... Nope. We really need some lands. We hit some running lands, this hand's pretty good. If we don't, then we're going to be in some trouble. Field of Ruin. Draw our opponent a card right off the bat. Survey says Sarah Ascendant again. Not a surprise. Lightning Bolt. Guess that was one of our better non-land draws here, but we're still in bad shape. Squadron Hawk. Now they got chump blockers for days. Sure. What are you gonna do? Grab like one Squadron Hawk? Yep. And now we die due to the one land keep. Yep. Keep feeding our opponent lands. So we play out a Bushwhacker here. Not exactly its most mana efficient form, but we gotta get some other stuff on the board here. Gideon of the Trials. Well, that's gonna be exceptionally annoying. Sure. What we really need is lands. Lands are all I need. Alright, so yep. Celestial Purge, sure. So we're both stuck on lands, it looks like. Yeah, I really hate to do this, but this is the turn we have to do it. Yeah. Sacrifice this. I'd like to redirect to Gideon of the Trials. Yes. And pass. Question is, okay, our opponent's not. Okay. That's unfortunate. Fourth land unlocks so much of their deck. Oblivion Ring. Alright. Seems like an ambitious use of removal. Pass. Land number 5. Yep. To Martyr of Sands. Get a Squadron Hawk. And we'll get one more draw step, and if we don't hit a land here, we're just scooping. And even with a land, I think this is still more than we can overcome at this point, so. Gambled on hitting a second land. We didn't hit it in any type of timely fashion. So yeah, I kind of knew what your hand was, friend. It was a beating. That's what your hand was. So thoughts on Goblins so far? Just from the matches we've played, I'm not a huge fan of the contested war zones. A couple of times it has hampered us. I think maybe cutting down to 1 and adding an 18th mountain, and then some type of just straight up Volter effect in the sideboard is probably a necessary evil. Because we've been losing mainly to swarm decks-ish kind of things. Is this hand good enough on a 1-land keep? I think the answer is yes. Obviously, a second land would be pretty good, but like Founder Street Denizen into Mog Fanatic seems fine. If we hit our second land, some mirror match. Oh my. Please show us mountain. Please show us mountain. Yes. Alright, cool. I wonder if we're playing the mirror. It's either the mirror or burn, so. Yep, the mirror. Alright, well. Nope. Play out a Peel Driver. Play out a Mog Fanatic. So that was a bad attack. Straight up. Okay, well, that works. Our opponent could have just blocked with another Mog War Marshal. Gonna really clog up the board. Need something like a Legion Loyalist here. I don't think the one thing I ever played was the Goblin Mirror Match. Goblin Bushwhacker. Pass. No good real attacks here. Just gonna bolt something on end step here. Looks like that's what they're debating. Oh, they're just gonna keep them around. Okay. Maybe. Yep, they're gonna pay the Echo. That makes sense. Fanatic. So right now we have 10 points of burn, which is important. Alright. Denizen, sure. So this is one of those awkward turns that we've got to make our opponent have it. If they have it, cool. If they don't, that's cool too. Opponent has to have Bolt here, and they have to do it before combat, because if they don't, then we just get to absolutely pummel them. This is your last opportunity, opponent. Yep, here comes the bolt. Can't say that was unexpected, but nevertheless, it's annoying. Because they were telegraphing leaving up bolt the whole time. So now we're back to the quasi-waiting game. This is yet another matchup where falter effects in the sideboard would be pretty good. Just like opponent's team can't block, swing in. Alright. What are you going to do, opponent? One-two bracket, Goblins mirror. So we've played against Elves, Martyr Proc, and Red-Black Dragons. Not exactly your modern format du jour here. Alright, they're going to swing with their Goblin guides. Interesting. Reckless Bushwhacker on top. Alright, we did do a flurry of burn spells here. It's very possible we're dead to, like, something dumb like grenade, bolt here. But with a bunch of 1/1s, we don't have any real... Yeah, this is looking like we're dead. Oh, okay. Sure. Not necessarily where I'd be aiming my Goblin grenades. Alright. Post-combat Legion Loyalist, and... What's your last card, friend? Another Goblin Grenade, kill something? Devastating Summons. That's a card. Whew. Go ahead and blow up your Legion Loyalist. That way I have more favorable combat should you decide to attack. Block there. Block there. Kill that. What else am I killing? Guess one of their tokens. Goblin Guide, Surge. Oh well. Don't know that we have any other great plays, so let's go what we've got. If I had a Legion Loyalist, this would be fine, but as it is, this is just kind of a suicide attack. And I don't think we had any profitable attacks coming, so block. Block. So 5. Not quite enough gets through here. Alright, on to sideboard games. Alright, so pile drivers seem awful unless we specifically have Legion Loyalist. What other cards are kind of garbo here? Heel Cutter doesn't seem particularly great. Get these in here and try it like that. How's everyone doing this evening in this post-Christmas stream? Get anything good for Christmas? Have good family time? Dear Lord, these one-landers every time. Yeah, we'll keep it. It's not great, but we'll keep it. Lead on Foundry Street. Go ahead. Foundry Street, go. Land, please. I said land. Opponent reveals a mountain. Yep, trade off. I'm fine with that. Pile driver, sure. Opponent reveals bolts. Foundry Street. It's an interesting play here. Again for 5. Wow. I'm losing this race, so there's no sense in attacking. Yep. We know Bolt is one of their cards. Bushwhacker. Alright, well, I'm glad I held back this time. Hopefully they don't just, like, bolt one of our Goblin Guides. If we actually hit a land one of these draw steps, we might be in good shape. Yeah, I mean, play this out as a blocker, go. Pile driver, sure. Land, please. Alright, Mogfanac's a thing, I guess. Not a very good thing, but it's a thing. Ah. Opponent has Electrickery as their pseudo falter effect. Get in for a lot of damage here. We know they still have a bolt in their hand, so we're in a little bit of trouble here. Another War Marshal, sure. Now your last card is okay. No. Get a dude. Alright, Legion Loyalist will be good. Good in the event we can turn this game around. If our opponent draws a lot of things here that just kill us. If our opponent draws something like... Yep, they're going to pay the Echo. Makes sense. Yeah, this pretty much means we're dead here, because if they get through with one creature, we're just dead. Yep. Block. 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 And block. This will get through, put us to 5. This plus bolt equals game. Yep, puts us to 4. Yep, and then bolt finishes off. Alright, so one more match with the Hobgoblins here. GP Incinerator wins the match. So, takeaways from this build so far. We definitely need a falter effect or electrickery or something along those lines on the sideboard. Trying to think of what the name... There's a couple falter effects that exist in Magic for like 1 and a red, which would be good in some of these matchups. Obviously, Legion Loyalist does a decent job of that, but our opponent had electrickery there, and then the previous couple of matchups would have been good. These Karizavs and the Heel Cutter are good against like big one-of creatures, but not great in like the Swarm matchups. So it's kind of a touch and go situation. The version I used to play a long time ago had like fetch lands in it, so I had like access to a Tarka's command in post-board games, which a couple times against like Affinity and stuff even came up, because like I was able to like prevent them from gaining life and give my creatures +1/+1 in reach. So there's a lot of little different things you can do with goblins depending on if you're mono red or red green. But it's probably the best performing cheap deck in Magic Online. But even so, you can see from this league that it has issues in certain matchups. Mulligan. Hi and good luck. Keeping this hand, but it's not great. Pile driver to the bottom. We need lands. So what got blinked out? I guess. Opponent's gonna have an Inquisition or something dumb here. Oh, Soul Sisters. Wonderful. Can I hate my life yet? Is that okay? Yep. Put our opponent to 20. Another Pride Mate. Yep. Seems like a pretty good hand against us. Sure. Two for one ourselves, kill our opponent's big bruiser. Do you have a third one? Nope, just another land. Okay, we're done here. Is there a reason to even keep playing this match? Yeah. How about that? Concede match. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So, Goblins. Rule number one: if you expect a bunch of Soul Sisters in your meta, don't play Goblins. Just, especially ones that are main decking Auriok Champion, just don't play Goblins. Save yourself the trouble. But in all seriousness, the deck is fine. We got stuck on a lot of one-landers. That's why when I play Burn, I went up to a 20th land. I'm not sure Goblins can afford to play that many lands, though. So you're stuck with an 18, 19 land deck that you don't want to play too many more lands. is contested war zones are very risky. They're high risk, high reward. There's been a couple times they color screwed us, a couple times they helped our opponent. The main deck is fine. There's a couple different configurations. The configuration I played didn't run Goblin Chieftain, didn't run this Heel Cutter. It ran like Burning Tree Emissaries to help power out the Bushwhacker draws. Beyond that, the main deck, there's not a whole lot of variation in these decks. The main difference is like the sideboards, definitely want some type of falter or like trickery effect. Probably wouldn't hurt to run something like Skullcrack or Leyline of Punishment, especially if you're seeing a lot of life gain. Beyond that, I mean, you saw the downside of the deck with the one land draws. Sometimes you throw those back, but you can only afford to mulligan so much because this is still a synergy aggro deck. Not as powerful, but not unlike Affinity. You need a certain critical component of goblins in play for your bushwhackers to hit hard, for your goblin grenades to be useful. And then you also saw like the one game against the first Soul Sister, well, not Soul Sisters, the first Martyr Proc deck. You saw like our opponent was on 40 after turn 2, and we still killed them on turn 5. So it still has some incredible nut draw potential. But you also have to balance that out with the fact that you're dealing with a 19 land deck, no cantrips, no manipulation. So sometimes you hit 1 land and die, sometimes you hit 5 lands and die. Sometimes you hit 2 or 3 lands, you do perfectly and just run your opponent out of the game. So it's unlike a lot of decks in Modern where you can either have wonderful draws or just absolute garbage. So that's why it's a tier 4, tier 5 deck, but it can certainly win games, especially if you're looking for like a deck here on Magic Online that runs you like 30 ticks or less. I mean, you can't really do better than this deck for that kind of value. So with that, I'm going to wrap up recording for the league for YouTube. If you like what you're seeing on the channel, feel free to hit that follow button. If you like what we're seeing over there on YouTube, feel free to subscribe on YouTube. The YouTube link is down below the channel here. I'm going to switch over and actually do a cube. I haven't done any cube drafts yet, so figure I'd do that to wrap up the night.